Short-term patients at the Clarksville Rehabilitation and Nursing Center not only receive excellent care and services while they are in the facility, they also get wonderful follow-up when they go home, thanks to the Care Never Really Ceases program.
Our motto is to get well and go home. And that's what everybody loves about it. Come in and you get the best therapy, you get the best care, and then you're able to go home at a time where you can just enjoy yourself, relax, and really be ready to go home and take care of yourself. The management team and I, we began to kind of brainstorm about the patients when they would leave, when they get well and go home, what's really going on at home. And we wanted to be more in tune and stay in contact and in touch with the families and with our patients to make sure that once they did go home, that while we would love for them to return, but we don't want them to have to return. So in that instance, we want to make sure that we're doing all we can do to help enhance their ability to stay at home. They came in, they got well, and then going home, we want to help them maintain that. And while it's not a home health process, it is just an extended outreach of the care that we started here, that started with them while they were here, and we want to make sure we just follow them.
I didn't want to just cut it off after the 30 days, you know, when they're out of their window, to show that we actually do care and want to see how they're doing and make sure everything is okay. That's when we expanded it to do the phone call monthly for 3 months, just to show, you know, that we are here and thinking about them. Oh, they absolutely love it, especially when it's still within like the 30 days. I mean, they'll update us on how the home health is going, especially in that first week after discharge, if there were any problems like getting their medicine or if home health didn't come when they were supposed to, just any concerns, and we try to address that all then.
This is my 3rd time here, and it's just a wonderful place. All of the clientele, I mean, all of the staff members are just wonderful, and I love the therapy because they're so helpful and considerate.
It makes me feel good because I like to make sure that other people are happy and taken care of, and just to get that thank you and that they appreciate the call, it makes me feel good because it's like I want them to know that, like we said, care never really ceases, and you know that we are always here no matter what, if they're a patient or not a patient of ours anymore.
On average, we've had at least 3 to 4 patients that have returned to us as a result of the contacts because they enjoyed it so much, just knowing that we were there for them when they were at home, and it just made them feel special. And so they've returned to us for therapy if they ended up back in the hospital and so forth after a period of time, even over the past year. So it has been a tremendous asset to the facility, but more so to the patient and their family.
What may seem like a simple art activity has resulted in big benefits for dementia and Alzheimer's patients who are participating in the Game On program at the Savannah Healthcare and Rehabilitation Center.
We got to brainstorming, myself and several of our other employees, about what we could do to enhance the quality of care for our patients. There were multiple submissions, different ideas. The one that really stood out, it involved the staff. Of course, it was patient-oriented, and it also involved family members, as well as the community. This also gave us the chance to use a different approach to behavior management other than our first approach being medications.
Play therapy has proven to be very beneficial, especially in patients with Alzheimer's disease. And we know that there's no cure for Alzheimer's disease, but actual brain scans have shown that brand new neurons are being fired after so many sessions of play therapy in patients with Alzheimer's disease. So I thought this might be just a perfect program to implement here.
When I first went back there, it was very quiet. There was low music playing, and actually Lindsay, the social worker, was doing guided imagery where she had them close their eyes and they would reminisce about things. And it was so quiet, you could have heard a pin drop, but it was so soothing. And patients who yell out on a daily basis, nothing, not a word. It was just total silence.
Often family members participate in the activities and are able to help loved ones recall shared memories.
Well, we've just been married now 63 years, and we've always done everything together.
Those themes are based on pulling memories and pulling conversation out of the resident. An example, we were doing a session, the birdhouse painting, and we asked questions such as, what is this that you're painting? Do you have a memory of building a birdhouse, maybe as a child or an adult? And hearing what the individual has to say, it just kind of brings you back to that memory, and it helps them to retain that memory that they might not have thought of in 20, 30, or 40 years, When I actually saw how well the program was doing was actually after a session. It was mealtime in the evening, and one of our patients that had not been able to physically feed herself in many, many months had actually picked up her fork and began feeding herself. And so the CNA came to me in just amazement, because this was the first time that the individual, after painting and using those muscles, the fine gross motor skills, and kind of reviving some of that dexterity in her hand even, she was finally feeding herself again.
I was hoping that what would happen is exactly what has happened. We've been able to reduce 4 of 13 antipsychotic medications, which doesn't sound like a large number, but it's progress. Also 4 of 13 anti-anxiety medications, and our overall percentage has dropped 51% to now 39%. So that's a big step.
Recognizing that not every patient is able to have family members surrounding them in their final hours of life, Applingwood Healthcare Center designed the No One Dies Alone program to fill this very special need for some of their beloved residents.
And it's sort of in addition to palliative care, it's in addition to hospice care. It's really serving that occasional resident that has no family or no one that cares about them from the outside and needs someone to sit with them. And we partnered with the Methodist Healthcare System here in Memphis and did a collaborative effort to get the training for it. We are the only skilled nursing facility in the Memphis area that's doing it at this time. And it's kind of a pioneer work with the Methodist Healthcare System and the Ministerial Association and the volunteer groups around the community.
It's not only been a great program for the staff and the residents, but what I like is how the residents have really stepped up and put it on their own shoulders, and how they've made this program what it is, as far as the room, the toiletries, everything down to the end. They really have a lot of input in it.
The room is our comfort room, is what we call it. We tried to make it incorporated by our residents. They decided what they wanted in it, so it's still a work in progress. But we try to put things in it for the person that's volunteering, or for the family either, that's snacks, because one of our patients said, well, when you're nervous and you're sitting in there, you want to eat. So we have all kinds of snacks and drinks, but we also make sure that whoever's in there gets a meal. If it's meal times, we go in and offer whatever we're having to make sure that they eat, because when you're in there with your loved one or the volunteer, they're not going to leave that room, so they need to make sure that somebody's feeding them. We also keep toiletries in the bathroom so that they can brush their teeth, there's deodorant, anything that they may need, any personal cares. Another one of our patients was like, well, we got to do something special for them, and we came up with this blanket idea that we were doing, which ended up being an Afghan now, because another patient was like, well, that's not personal, so now we're on to an Afghan that our patients actually make.
I'm not worth doing much of anything for anybody, not even myself, but I can crochet for these people.
And when you're at a military funeral or something and you're doing the flag, you hold those corners of the flag and they put that on there and then they fold it and they give it to that family. The same thing with this blanket. We hold it as staff and we talk about that resident or a family, because we actually, if they do have family that can't get here, once they do, that family takes over that care. Same thing, they hold that Afghan and we talk about that patient. When that patient is gone, they can't take the patient home, but they can take that Afghan home that's got those memories in it.
I was really pleasantly surprised at how many of our own staff volunteered to get the training. I was expecting more community volunteers, and we had several, so that part was good. But in addition, we had about 9 or 10 of our own staff that wanted to take the training and are actually certified end-of-life no one dies alone personnel. If our staff is going to sit with a resident, they're on their own time, and they've done that. They've come in extra 4 hours, they've come in on their days off just to sit with a loved resident so that they wouldn't have to die alone.
No one does want to die alone. That's one of the things you do not want to happen. And when you're in a room, you know, if you know, you want to know that there's somebody there holding your hand. There is somebody, there's still a connection when you're leaving here. So that's our thing, is we want to make sure they know they're loved.